Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pooch and Reed podcast. It is a very, very special week in the sports world as March Madness is getting underway at the end of this week. Syracuse is in the tournament, which is always a blast. But Braden, how are you doing on this very exciting week?
I am doing very well, Joe. It's the most wonderful time of the year for sports, in my opinion. Normally, I'm home on spring break, just get to sit on my rear end on the couch and watch 2 full days of games in the round of 64. It's a great experience, but we're here. We'll be watching them anyway. They'll still be on the TV, and I'm excited for them.
And in 2019, I skipped school, or no, sorry, I was sick during the first two games of March Madness, so that was always fun. And then last year, I was also planning on doing the exact same if COVID didn't cancel. So that's why this tournament is kind of like the best tournament ever because last year we didn't get a March Madness. So today we just decided that we were going to make our own bracket. We're going to go on ESPN Tournament Challenge, and we're just gonna do it. Now, got a few disclaimers to begin off. We are not going to be going in depth with every selection. If you would like an in-depth review of every single team in the NCAA tournament, please go to a different channel. We will not be doing that, especially for like the 1-16 matchups. We really don't need to break those down. We'll only really break down the very important games, and we might even not break it down to a very analytical standpoint. So it's just we're not trying to just cover ourselves here and make ourselves seem smarter than we actually are. We just don't want this video to be 45 minutes. And we know you guys don't want to watch this video for 45 minutes. So, Braden, if you have any other words.
Yeah, I think just to add on to that point, half of March Madness is just picking for fun. It's a statistical fact that people who do better in picking brackets have no idea what they're doing. So you could take some of our picks, put them into your bracket. You'll probably do better because we're not college basketball experts. We know a decent amount, but at the end of the day, it's just a coin flip for some of these closer games.
Exactly. So we're just going to get right into this thing and do our best to pick the perfect bracket. So here it is. ESPN Tournament Challenge, the Pooch and Reed podcast bracket. It's very simple if you guys are into the NCAA March Madness. You just select teams and you hope that your bracket is perfect. So let's just get this going with the quote unquote West region. Um, we already said we're not going to break down 1-16. So we know Gonzaga is going to win this game. Oklahoma, Missouri. If we take a look at the information here, uh, Oklahoma is better than Missouri in the BPI. I like Oklahoma to take Missouri in this one. I think the Big 12 has been a great conference all season. I would personally pick Oklahoma here.
I would take Oklahoma too. Again, these are, like we mentioned earlier, two of the teams that I personally don't know too much about, but Ken Pom is my Bible for college basketball, and Ken Pom has them higher, and that is good enough for me. So Oklahoma in this one.
Creighton and Santa Barbara. This is my first upset. I think that the Gauchos are very hot entering this tournament. Creighton's had a quite interesting year. They fell short in the Big East championship to Georgetown. And, I think that statistically speaking, teams that are hotter entering the tournament play better. So I like Santa Barbara in this matchup. I don't think I've ever picked Santa Barbara ever to win an NCAA basketball game, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, this is my first one too. I love the 12 and 5 seed games. I feel like the 12s always pull off one or two a year. And Creighton's a good team, but the Big East tournament, obviously, they lost that big one to Georgetown. And like you said, UCSB's hot, and that matters in this time of the year.
Virginia and Ohio. I like the Cavaliers. They're one of the better teams in the ACC. They were the one seed, barely squeaked by Syracuse in the ACC tournament. And I personally think they would have won the tournament if they didn't have any COVID issues. If they're fully healthy, they can win a national championship. That's just a fact. So I like Virginia over the Bobcats here.
Yeah, it's tough to pick against these storied programs, the Virginias, the Michigans, the Gonzagas. They just have that tournament experience, whether it's on their bench or on their coaching staff. And Virginia takes this one too.
Brandon, I'll toss it over USC and Wichita or Drake.
I'm a big fan of USC. Evan Mobley, I'm a huge fan of the freshman as well. This team's playing well. The Pac 12 isn't a great basketball conference, but USC has a talented roster. And I think an 11 seed, a playing game, there shouldn't be too much trouble for them.
Agreed. Kansas and Eastern Washington. This is easily going to Kansas. They're obviously a championship contender. They'll have no problem getting through Eastern Washington. Now, Oregon and VCU. I personally think Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. I think that they are a very well-rounded ball club. They know how to score when they need to, especially down low. Braden, I don't know about you, but I'm picking the Ducks here.
I would agree with that. They've won 11 of their last 12 prior to their loss in the Pac-12 championship game. Again, like we mentioned just a few minutes ago, hot teams matter in this tournament. And yeah, we could just pencil that Iowa in,
Yeah.
Sharpie that Iowa in pretty
Yes,
quickly.
Sharpie that. We'll also Sharpie this one, Michigan going
Yep.
in here. We've already penciled the Bonnies down here. Shout out Jack Angelucci. I think that the Bonnies are a better team than LSU. LSU's defense is not the best, and I really don't think they played their best basketball towards the end of the year. So I like the Bonnies to roll in this one, and they have a meeting with Michigan.
Yeah, scoring points is fun, and LSU is a fun team to watch, but you got to play defense down the stretch to win these tournament games. And St. Bonnie's is good on both ends of the floor. They're not outstanding on either end, but they can get it done. And if they can limit LSU's offense to some degree, I think they win this game.
Georgetown and Colorado. Georgetown is one of the hottest teams in college basketball at the moment. They ran the table in the Big East tournament. As much as it kind of pained us as Syracuse fans, not only because Georgetown's our bitter rival, but also because they could have been a bid stealer from the Orange. But the fact now that the Orange are safely in there and Georgetown's here as a 12 seed, I really like them beating Colorado and moving on to the next round.
I have to disagree with you on this one.
Whoa.
I love my 5 and 12 seeds, but Colorado might be the best team in the Pac-12. That might not say too much, but they've beaten USC 3 times. They've beaten Oregon. They've beaten UCLA. They just have good quality wins. And I like Patrick Ewing. I like Georgetown. I think their tournament run was incredible, but I don't really see an upset here.
We're gonna have to go back to this one because I am very, very strong on my Georgetown.
Okay.
So we'll move on.
Right.
This is a TBD. Florida State, Greensboro. We're gonna go Florida State.
Easy enough.
Florida State's one of the better teams in the ACC. No really need to describe that. BYU and either Michigan State or UCLA. Braden, I'll have you take this one.
I'm a big BYU fan. I have them going pretty far in this tournament in my own bracket. 20-6, I think, is their record. 3 of those losses have come to Gonzaga. So basically 20-3. I don't think anyone's beating Gonzaga in this tournament, but BYU's a talented team. Playing teams, just I don't ever like picking them. It just irks me. So BYU in this one.
I mean, if we're doing only losses are to Gonzaga, that's a slippery slope. So we'll keep it. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think BYU will end up winning that game. Just depends on if it's Michigan State. Michigan State might give them an earful, but it's whatever. Texas, Abilene Christian, boom. UConn and Maryland. Got UConn. I think UConn played pretty well in the Big East tournament. Maryland hasn't really blown up my Twitter timeline. They haven't really done anything too miraculous this year. We'll go with the Huskies.
I would agree. Again, yeah.
And then boom. All right, so
easy enough.
Yes. Now let's go up to the top right in the South region. Baylor. Now North Carolina and Wisconsin. I've been torn about this one because UNC it's not the UNC that we all know. And North Carolina had a rough start to the year, but they ended up getting back into their form. But Braden, from what we've been discussing over the last few days, you're a big Wisconsin guy.
I'm a big Wisconsin fan. In this tournament, at least. They're not a super fun team to watch. They play super slow, but they're efficient. They're incredibly efficient on the defensive end. They get the ball inside and they score points. So if you control the pace of the game, you can absolutely win, even if you're not the most talented team. And I think Wisconsin does it in this one and maybe has some even more success down the road.
Yeah, that's a great point. Controlling the tempo is what I really like about what you said. If North Carolina is able to control this game, they win. That's simple. That's how Roy Williams constructs his team. So I'll also take Wisconsin here. Villanova and Winthrop. I'm going to go Villanova. I don't see a 12-5 upset here.
Mm-hmm.
Nova, they were the 1 seed in the Big East, and they should have won the tournament, in all honesty. So they could be cold, one of the colder teams entering this tournament, but I just don't think Winthrop gives them good competition, and we'll pencil in Purdue. Texas Tech and Utah State. Any upset here?
I don't see it. Texas Tech, again, like you said earlier, a Big 12 team. They've played against really solid competition all year. You look at their top 25 record, it might not be the best, but they have that experience against really solid teams, and I think that translates well here.
Absolutely. As much as I want to pick Colgate here and roll with the Raiders, I unfortunately can't pick the Central New York basketball powerhouse. I'm going to go with the Razorbacks. But I will be rooting hardcore for Gate in that one, and they might have a chance to win. They might. You never know. Virginia Tech and Florida. All right, here comes my ACC bias. I'm going with the Hokies. Florida's been pretty good, but Virginia Tech is one of those teams that's a sleeper. Not many teams discuss them in the ACC conversation. I really like the way that they play, and I think that they'll be able to beat Florida. What about you?
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick too. SEC basketball is good, but Florida just hasn't really shown me too much in games against Alabama, Arkansas, and Virginia Tech. I think beat Villanova earlier in the year, and that was when they still had Gillespie. So some good wins for this Virginia Tech team. Like you said, maybe a little bit of ACC bias, but I like Tech in that one.
Loyola Chicago and the other Tech, Georgia Tech. I really like Loyola Chicago. Ken Pom has them as one of the best teams in college basketball in terms of offensive and defensive efficiency. They're running into the ACC champions in the first round, which is not a great ruling here. I'm still taking Loyola Chicago. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion because it's like, oh, they're not going to do it again. They're not going to go to the Final Four again. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Final Four. I'm just saying that they're going to beat Georgia Tech and Jeff Passner.
Yeah, Georgia Tech has some really talented players on the offensive side, but Loyola Chicago is one of, if not the best defensive team in the country, and defense wins championships. I'm sure I'll say that again over the course of this video, but that matters here. And if they can shut down Moses Wright, I think they win this game.
Let's keep rolling. Tennessee, Oregon State. A lot of people got Oregon State in this one, and honestly, I think that it might happen. But Braden, what have you been thinking about this?
I've been back and forth on this one too. I love my 12-5 matchups, but Oregon State just doesn't really do anything too well. They're hot, which matters, obviously, like we've said, but Tennessee is just a more talented team.
Yeah, we'll go Tennessee. Why not? And Oklahoma State, obviously. Syracuse and San Diego State. This is a this is a conversation I've been waiting for all video. Look, as much as I'm a homer for Syracuse, Braden's not as much of a homer as I am because he didn't grow up here. But I will go to my grave saying that the 2-3 zone is the best tournament defense. West Virginia's press, we'll talk about that in a second, is also a very good tournament defense. And I really don't think San Diego State has an answer for Syracuse. I really don't. Unless they can shoot the lights out of the gym, if they can shoot 40% or better from deep, then San Diego State's going to win. But this isn't the number one team in the country like we saw last year. This is a team that lost a few of their better players and is just not up to that potential. They could have been NCAA champions last season if they had a tournament. This year, I'm rolling with the Cuse.
All right, I won't argue with that. We'll argue with Cuse again later down the road. San Diego State's good defensively. I think someone is going to have to step up for Syracuse. It's probably going to have to be and end up being Buddy Boeheim. But yeah, if Syracuse is going to make a run in this tournament and even get out of the first round, they're going to need someone to have a big game on offense.
It'll be a bartering system. We'll have Cuse going out in a future round. West Virginia, Morehead State will go West Virginia. Clemson, Rutgers. This is a great game. This is going to be one of the best games in the first round. Rutgers started off the year fantastic, kind of fell off a little bit. Clemson, the exact opposite. They won 5 straight games until going to Syracuse in the season finale, and they lost that one in the Dome. I like Clemson in this matchup. I think that Rutgers, it's really tough because like they're literally the exact same team. Like this is a very good matchup for the first round. For this episode's sake, let's just go with an upset here. Frick the ACC. Let's just go with Rutgers.
Yeah, it pains me picking Rutgers because I just always watch them in Big Ten football, and I'm like, this team sucks. But they've got a good basketball team this year. They beat Illinois earlier on in the year, which is a huge win for obvious reasons, and I think they beat Clemson. And then Houston's an easy one.
Yes. Let's go up tier into the West Region round of 32, Gonzaga, Oklahoma. This is the first time we're going to talk about Gonzaga all video, and no one can really beat this team. Everyone says they have a cakewalk in their conference. They do. They've also beaten some of the best teams in basketball by double digits. So take that for what it is. I'm going to roll with the Zags in this one. Virginia and USCB. Cinderella end here. I mean,
yeah, it's a fun first round matchup, but I think Virginia is just too talented of a team to lose in that situation.
USC, Kansas. You're a big USC fan, but I don't personally see them going past Kansas here.
I think USC is riding Evan Mobley to the Sweet 16 at the very least.
Whoa. Okay. You know what? I'll do it for your sake. I'll do it.
Experience matters in this tournament, but when you're as talented as guys like Luka Garza, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, you can ride just their talent alone. Kansas is a huge basketball school. They're always good. They're always competing in these tournaments, but I think USC bounces them here.
Oregon, Iowa. This will be one hell of a game. For the episode's sake, I kind of want to take the upset. But I don't really know. I don't think Oregon is as deep enough to beat Iowa as people are assuming.
I think Iowa's loss is just, it depends on when Luka Garza doesn't show up. I think he's the best player in the country. That's not much of a discussion, but it just feels like they lean have really, really heavily on that guy. And if he doesn't show up for one of these important games, these teams are good enough to beat them. So I'm fine with them over Oregon, but definitely look at them down the line.
Michigan and the Bonnies. St. Bonaventure's going down here. Michigan is one of the best teams.
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah, sorry. They're one of the best teams in college basketball. Bonnies just kind of they run into a hot hand. Georgetown, Florida State. I'm picking the Hoyas. Wait. We didn't.
That's fine. We don't need to talk about Colorado and Georgetown.
Okay.
You're taking the Hoyas in this one,
dude. Hoyas are hot. I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
Florida
State was a good team this year.
They're here because they won the Big East. That's the only reason they're here. Like, I understand that's a big accomplishment. I'm not downplaying that, but what in the regular season have they showed that thinks they could beat a team like Florida State?
Well, they beat Creighton twice. They beat Villanova once. Only lost to Cuse by 5.
They lost to
Seton Hall. Beat Seton Hall twice. I mean, come on, they're the Pirates. All right, look, West Virginia or Florida State's a better team. I want to go with the upset, but Braden's not fun, so we'll go with Florida State. Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. BYU and Texas. Braden's favorite team going up against BYU. What do you have for this one?
I am riding with the Cougars in this one. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of this team's resume. I don't know why that 3 losses to Gonzaga just spoke to me for some reason. I was looking at their resume and I'm like,
but what have they done all season?
That's a big deal.
In the year. Yeah. See, here we go.
1-3 against top 25 teams. All 3 of those losses are against Gonzaga. I don't think anyone's beating Gonzaga in this tournament. I don't know too much about Texas. I just like the Cougs in this tournament for some odd reason. It's that gut feeling.
All right, BYU's moving on. UConn, Alabama. Alabama, very good. Won the SEC tournament. They are rolling. They will steamroll the Huskies. No disagreement there?
I agree.
Thank God. Okay. Baylor, Wisconsin. This one, I do not know what is up with this Baylor basketball team. I do not know. Do you have Baylor going past Wisconsin here?
I don't. Again, Wisconsin, another one of those teams that I just have this good feeling about. Super slow pace. They can control the flow of the game. And Baylor has shown signs of being mortal these past few weeks. And they've lost some games that they probably normally would win. And it just feels like they're not super hot right now. And being hot matters in this tournament. And Wisconsin, like I mentioned in their last game, you control the pace of this game and you can beat a team like Baylor.
Braden's hometown team against Purdue. I think Purdue wins this one pretty easily.
Yeah, without Gillespie, this Villanova team just doesn't stand much of a chance to make a serious run.
Texas Tech and Arkansas. This is a good game too. I think I'm going to roll with the Hogs. I think that Arkansas might be able to squeak this one out of the end. It's going to be a very good game if we just look at the numbers here quickly. I mean, Texas Tech 8th in BPI, Arkansas 14th. But Arkansas ran through the SEC. Like this was a great year in the conference for Arkansas. So I think that the Hogs will pull off a nice win against Texas Tech.
No argument there.
And Ohio State over Virginia Tech. Ohio State, one of the best teams in college basketball.
Yep.
Loyola Chicago and Illinois. This is where Loyola Chicago kind of gets the worst end of the stick here, and they got to go up against one of the best teams in the best conference all year. I'm going to roll with Illinois. I'm just going to play it safe.
It's a tough draw being an 8 or 9 seed because you got to play a 1 seed if you do manage to win that tough of a game. So I feel for Loyola Chicago. They're a really good basketball team, and they can make a run if they don't have to play on Illinois so early.
Cade Cunningham and the boys are moving on against Tennessee. You can't tell me otherwise.
I'll take it. I'll allow it.
Syracuse and West Virginia. Now, if this game, so I don't know what time this game is. I'm guessing it's before the 9:40 game between Cuse and San Diego State. But if West Virginia realizes that Syracuse is winning this ball game, they are working on that full court press in practice all day tomorrow, because that will beat the Orange. And if this game happens, that will happen. West Virginia can shoot the lights out of the building. They were a top 10 team in college basketball this season, lost some really tough games. West Virginia is one of those sleeper teams, and I think that they'll easily beat Syracuse.
Yeah, Syracuse just feels like beats themselves at some point, and I think this is the place it's going to happen. Joe Girard's going to turn the ball over 8 times. Buddy Boeheim's going to go cold. It's got to happen eventually, and I think against a talented team like West Virginia, it's amplified.
But the fact that Cuse is here is a W.
A miracle in itself. Yes.
Yeah, right. Rutgers and Houston. I'm going to go with Houston here. I don't really know much about Houston. It's kind of poor on my end, but if you just look at these numbers here, 1-0 against the top 25. They beat Illinois, hanging with Michigan. They squeaked out a win against Purdue. They are rightfully a 2 seed, 24-3. Oh wait, that is Rutgers. That is simply not Houston. Houston is the team with the Houston logo, and they beat Texas Tech
There
by
you
a
go.
lot. I think I'm just going to roll with Houston here, play it safe, and not sound like an idiot.
Agreed. Houston's one of those teams that
do sound like an idiot.
Houston from a mid-major conference, they're always just tough because a cakewalk schedule, if that's what you want to call it. But just a super talented team, storied program. They're always going to have good players.
This has been my upset of the tournament so far, Virginia over Gonzaga. You cannot understand that, though. Is that correct? Like, you have no idea. You have no idea why, like, I picked.
No, I just don't see how anyone beating Gonzaga in this tournament, at least at this point.
Yeah, we'll roll with the Zags. Why not? And then USC and Iowa. I'll leave you with this one.
This is where Luka Garza falls. He's eventually going to burn out one of these games, and I'm a huge Evan Mobley guy. I think he rolls through this tournament and gets them into the Elite Eight against Gonzaga.
But Mobley might be the only guy that can go up against Garza. Like, that could be the only guy. So
That's
maybe he's able to stifle that offense.
I like the matchup.
For the sake of entertainment, I'm going to roll with it. Michigan and Florida State, I don't really see a team beating Michigan unless it's Gonzaga, in all honesty. So
Michigan is rolling.
Yes. I forget, are they like number 2 in the country, number 3? They're
close to top 5 for sure.
BYU, Bama. Is this where your Zach Wilson BYU Cougars end their
Zach
run?
Wilson hype train. I think it is. Alabama's just too talented of a team. I would love to see it. BYU is my team this March, but yeah.
Wisconsin and Purdue, Big Ten battle. What do you think? Because you were the one that had Wisconsin over Baylor.
I'm still rocking with Wisconsin.
Wow,
I'm still rocking with Wisconsin. Unless they get, I like the way they play way too much. I just think if you control the flow of the ball game, I know I've said it every matchup this team has had so far, but you're going to win a lot of games unless the team you're playing against is just way too talented. I know Baylor is talented, but they've shown flashes, and Ohio State is winning this one, and that could be a team that, like I just mentioned, is just too talented to lose to that pace.
Yeah, no shame on the Hogs. They're a very good team. I just think that they're running into a hot hand here. Illinois and Oklahoma State. You know how badly I want to take Oklahoma State. You know how badly I want to do it because Cade Cunningham is a baller. Look at the rest of the matchups here.
It's going to have to be on the back of Cade Cunningham. And do I think it can happen? Absolutely. But
now, Braden had BYU going pretty far. He has Wisconsin still going. He's got USC here.
I'll give you this one.
This is where my pick comes in.
Fair enough.
Oklahoma State with the upset over Illinois. Illinois is a great team. Don't get me wrong. But Cade Cunningham is a baller. West Virginia and Houston. I want to take West Virginia in this one. I don't know about you. I really like this matchup for the Mountaineers.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one.
All right.
Houston, they're top 20 in both offense and defense. They just play well all over the floor. West Virginia is just a weird team. Like they haven't been fantastic down the stretch. Houston's not a weird team. It's just no one talks about them because they're a mid-major.
Exactly. It's like
Unless
weird.
They're undefeated, no one's going to talk about them.
Good point. Fine, roll Cougs. We've been roll Cougs all tournament.
I'm a big roll Cougs at this tournament.
All right, now we're getting into the Elite Eight, the serious conversations here. Gonzaga and USC. We know how much you love Evan Mobley. You've said it every single time so far. He's a fantastic player, and he deserves all that respect and the accolades you gave him. He's not standing a chance against Gonzaga. No shot.
No. Evan Mobley, I love you. You'll go top 5. Just can't. I cannot do it.
Wisconsin and Ohio State. We'll stay up here. We're going out of order. I know OCD's kicking in right now, but what do you think?
Wisconsin falls here. The gig is up. Ohio State's just too talented of a team. They can score enough points. They can take control of the game, and they'll head to the Final Four.
Michigan and Alabama. I want to take Michigan in this one. I think if Alabama had that Colin Sexton type player, once again, I think it would be a no-brainer. And, I just think that Michigan won the Big Ten. I was busy during the Big Ten championship.
I would have to assume.
That great part on us. We have no idea who won the Big Ten this year. But we're just going to roll with the Wolverines, move on. Oklahoma State, Houston. Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I'll do it. It feels like once a tournament, some team just rides the back of an incredible player who is either incredibly good throughout the regular season that continues or just gets hot during the tournament. You look at Kemba Walker many years ago, but
Buddy Boeheim, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think that's Cade Cunningham this tournament.
All right, so we got our Final Four. This is the official Pooch and Reed podcast Final Four. This is the Final Four I've had, I've had this in many of my brackets, so not disappointed whatsoever. Gonzaga, Michigan, thoughts?
Gonzaga just feels like head and shoulders better than every single team in the country. Michigan might be the second best team. It's just Gonzaga is so much better than everyone.
And I'm just like, I've been thinking to myself, like, there's no way Gonzaga goes undefeated this year. Like, no team has gone undefeated since Indiana, correct? Like, Kentucky didn't do it.
Kentucky didn't do it. You would know better than I would.
Kentucky didn't do it with like Anthony Davis and all them. I'm just like, I don't think Gonzaga can do it, but they might. I mean, they're good enough.
They're good enough too, for sure.
Yeah. And then Ohio State, Oklahoma State. Look, this is a tough one. These guys could have been the Big Ten champions. We have no idea. So, this is just going to be a really good matchup. And, last year, Texas Tech kind of ride the hot hand of Jarrett Culver, and they brought them to the national championship. And I'm going to do the exact same thing here with Cade Cunningham. We're going to keep riding that train, and Oklahoma State's going to pull off a shocking upset.
Cade Cunningham is going to have to average 35 points a game in this tournament for this to happen.
And guess what?
But
he did in the
season. I think it can happen.
So this is the national championship. Gonzaga and
Gonzaga's not weird.
Gonzaga's not weird. Oklahoma State, yeah, it's a stretch. And I don't know. I think that like Cade Cunningham could still drop like 20 points, but no, Gonzaga is going to win this tournament.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Gonzaga, I think, is going to roll over teams like Michigan, and Oklahoma State isn't a Michigan at all. Cade Cunningham might have to set the single game scoring record to win this game.
And final score, what would you have to say here?
Interesting. We'll go 84-69.
84-69. That's a nice score. So there it is. That is our NCAA Tournament Challenge bracket, whatever you want to call it. This is finalized. I've been thinking through this entire time, maybe we should do a Pooch and Reed pod tournament group. We'll think about it. I mean, it's obviously going to be an impromptu because we only have a few days until the tournament begins. But look, I think that this tournament is completely up in the air. I mean, we've said it multiple times throughout all these matchups. It's like, yeah, it could happen. Yeah, the other way could happen. Like this field is so competitive. This field is all very evenly matched. And once you get to the Sweet 16, I really feel like any one of those teams can end up winning the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. March Madness is always just such a toss-up in general, and especially in a year like this where games are getting canceled. One guy on your team catches COVID, and you're out of the conference tournament. So much can change in just a matter of a few days. Guys get hurt, guys get sick, and it's a completely different team. You lose all that momentum, and momentum matters in this tournament. So it'll be weird. I'm excited for it, though.
Yeah, and we're hoping that all of these teams will not have to battle COVID issues. It'll just make for a better tournament, and we're hopefully getting to the end of this terrible, terrible pandemic. So, thank you for watching. We hope that you guys enjoy this tournament. We know you guys will enjoy this tournament. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you watch this entire thing, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. Please don't use any of these picks for your own bracket. Please don't. We are not college basketball experts whatsoever. So please don't use these. But look, if you like our rationale for some of them, by all means, put it in. But don't cite us. If they lose, don't cite us. So that's it for the episode. Thank you for watching. And look, Syracuse, they might make a run for it. We didn't put them all the way, but look, if the dominoes fall,
it could happen.
If the dominoes fall, we'll have to see.